welcome to Dreamcrafted Creations. My name is Debbie. I am also known as Nana, and I am here with my little YouTube channel in this little corner of the world outside the Boston area in Massachusetts. And here to discuss with you all my yarny, fiber, arty things that I make. And what I've been busy with, starting back in January, if you're new here, were the 12 cast-ons of 2026, and I will link all the 12 cast-ons below. But what I wanted to talk about today was, what have I done with any of those 12 cast-ons? And it's been about 10 days, I believe, that I last came to you, and that was from Vogue Knitting. So that's the previous video if you're new here and you wanted to catch up with that. But other than that, this is pretty much a regular show and tell diary for me of all my knits that go on through the year. And right now I do have a couple of finished objects, one of which this week was one of the 12 cast-ons, and a whip, one of the 12 cast-ons. Actually, there's a lot of whips because they're all casted on, but I'm not going to show them all to you today. And a little bit of a yarn haul. I had been at the Russell's Yarn Festival back in January. I forget the exact date, but I did acquire some more yarn, as well as at the New York Live Vogue knitting. I acquired some more yarn, but that's in the previous video. I won't be showing that yarn today. But I wanted to just jump on and give you a little update. And one of the whips I'm working on is the Louvre mittens. And here is one finished without the lining. And this is I'm using all stash yarns for this project. I didn't go buy anything, and I'm trying to, it's almost like just a test knit for myself, because I just really like this mitten. And now that I've made one part, because you make the outer part of the mitten, and then I will be making the lining, which is opposite. I'll be picking up the stitches over here, and that will line it. But it was pretty easy. I followed it right to the pattern. And this, I believe, is a DK weight. I don't know the names of the yarns because they are from Stash. But I like how it comes down a little bit over the wrist. And this does come in sizes very small to adult. Hold on, let me get the pattern. Yes, so this is the name, and it is linked down below. Louvre, warm double mittens for the whole family, and they do run from sizes 2 to 4, 5 to 6, small, medium, and large. And I used DK weight. I might have already told you that, but I'm going to tell you again. So I did read, and I talked about these mittens a little bit. I forget which video it was, that some people like to do 2 strands of mohair for the inside. And I did talk about that, and I did have this yarn that I've had in my stash for a while that I was thinking may be nice for that. And I still am thinking that. But I also have this blue that I thought, and I don't know the name of this, but I thought that was a nice little match. Or what I might do, instead of holding this double, is hold it with this. I don't know if it'll be too thick, but I might try that. What do you think? Because I did have this plain Andean Treasure Sport weight, which that was very plain, so I didn't know if I wanted to do that. Or I might do this with a pop of pink. This is a sport weight alpaca, and this I got on Martha's Vineyard a few years back, and I've been wondering what I'm going to make with it, and it's really soft, so I think it would be good with mittens. So I don't know, I might do the pop of pink with that. What do you think? The pink or the blues? Not sure. But that is a work in progress, and hopefully I will be able to get to those sometime before my next video and have them both finished for you. They're a really good mindless knitting. I mean, there's a little bit of increasing for the thumb gusset, but you're changing the striping, but simple, easy knit night project. I brought them to knit night last night. And it's nice because a lot of times, a lot of the projects I do are a little bit more complicated that you have to pay attention, and I end up messing them up and having to rip them out after the night's over. So that is a nice palette cleanser, my friend called it, in between, something with color work, or a lot of decreases, increases, something that you really have to follow. So I do recommend those mittens so far. I'm not 100% done, but I like them very much. And then the other whip I have going on is the turtle pearl sock. So what I did with these socks was I have the turtle pearl, and the grays are going to be the heel and the toe, and we're doing back to basic socks. And that, like I said I did say that in a previous video, that I believe I got it free when I bought the yarn, but don't hold me to that. But the yarn is definitely turtle pearl, and it was called Sugar Plum Fairies, which was supposed to be, for Christmas, but I think it can be all year round because it has a lot of pink in it. But she does Judy's Magic Cast On, which I never did before. So I did that, but I also wanted to do two at the same time. So I did a magic loop cast on for 2 socks. And I will find the method I use and put it down below, because this is going to be a game changer for me, because I'm one of those people, you get through that first sock and you're like, oh, I have to do the other one. And I will give you a perfect example of that. And I started this, I think more than a year ago. And I started it on a trip I went on. And when I did start, let me show you. So the problem with me in doing one sock at a time is I get to a point, and of course other things are in the wings and I want to start them or get to them like everyone else in this knitting world or crochet world. And so this sock that I started, and I'm just at the toe now, and this is a Charlotte Stone sock. It was Easter, some type of Easter pattern. I'll put it up here. I forget the name of it. But I started this a year ago, and when I started it on the size needles she recommended, which I believe was like a 1 and a 1.5. And I got to this point, and I couldn't even put it over my heel. So I went up a needle size. I went up to 1 and a 2. For the ribbing, I'll do 1, and for the body, I do 2. And I really relaxed my knitting on the color work. But I only have 1 done, and so that is not a cast on for 2026, but it is something I do want to finish this year. And so also with Charlotte Stone, I will be starting, and it's not one of the 12 cast-ons, but as I've mentioned, I will be going to the Swiss Yarn Festival, and that's a retreat, and I'm taking the course Crunching Carrots by Charlotte Stone. So I will put the picture up here, and I'm going to try to cast that on before I go, so I have the 2 cast-ons on the needles for the workshop. So stay tuned for that. So I got to get moving on that and get those done. We've got a lot of socks here, which are great. They're great traveling projects, and I really I'm really happy with the socks. But let me show you what I got for the crunching carrots. And that was something I bought at the Unruly Stitch. I was there last night at knit night, and Anu showed me this sock yarn. And I have the perfect colors. Where did one of the skeins go, though? Oh, so I got 3 colors from her, and then I had a green for the leaves, so I'll be using that. So this yarn she recommended was Joal Lang. Okay, so it's Lang. Of course, I have to have the glasses. And they're holding the yarn. Okay. So she recommended this Lang Yarns Joal Superwash. That's that. And this is a very taupey color. It's for the background, like the dirt they're in. I don't think it has a color name on it. But it has a lot. It has a color 83.0022. And then for the carrot color, we have 83.0159. And for a background color, another background color, we have 83.0372. That's the name of these yarns. And then for the leaf colors, I'm going to use Cascade Yarns Heritage 75% Superwash Merino. I believe this is a sock yarn, but I'm going to use it because that's what I have, and I have this green color. So these are going to be the 4 colors that I will use for the crunching carrots, and at some point before I go to the yarn festival, I will show you how I've casted them on for 2 socks. Maybe I'll even do a little tutorial on that, because I did do a tutorial on making hearts for Valentine's Day, and I will link that video below or up here. I'll figure out how I can show it up here. So where it is Friday the 13th and tomorrow's Valentine's Day, I will, show you that video, and you can follow along with me and make a couple of hearts if you want for Valentine's Day. But the next sock episode thing I have here is, while I was buying this yarn, and was telling me, and I can feel it in here, she said there's some type of nylon inside this at the end, so like if you need to repair your socks after you make them, you know how they get worn. So that was pretty cool. And while I was getting that, I looked through another Charlotte Stone book that Anu had there, and I think there's a few patterns that I may get as gifts to make for people in my family. So I bought a few extra colors. My little yarn haul last night. So I got these colors, and I'm thinking about doing, they're called the Purrfect. I'll put a picture up here. Socks. I'm not sure who they're for yet, but I'm thinking I would love to get a bunch of socks made for Christmas presents this year, but who knows? 12 cast-ons, who knows if I'll fit those in. But I definitely know I'll fit this one in because I'm going to a retreat. And the last sock thing that is going on is a finished object, and that is, ta-da! This is my vanilla sock that I made starting on my Italy retreat back in October, and it is February and they're finished. And I'm going to put a funny little video up here that I put on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, it is linked here. Go ahead, go follow me, because I do post things there occasionally, where I try to, of everything I knit. So it might cross-reference, but I don't know, I was just fooling around. How do you show socks on a video and make them, look interesting? So that's what I came up with. So, finished object. And the next finished object, elephant in the room, is my Betty Cowel. And this is one of my 12 cast-ons of 2026, and I'm really happy with it. And actually, it's perfect for down here because it's a little chilly down here. But let me take it off and show you it a little bit closer. So this is a cowl. It's Mobius, and there were 7 mini skeins with a 26 row repeat for each mini skein with her pattern, and I just think it's beautiful. And there is my graphing it together. And the only thing I can say about this pattern that I had a little bit of a hiccup in was putting the Mobius ends together, because I believe in her pattern it just said lay it flat and turn it, and when I did that, it didn't seem to be lining up right. So I did YouTube someone who shows you how to graft together a Mobius cowl. And there's a little bit more to it than just turning it. So I will link that below if you're interested in that. But I would highly recommend this pattern. I just think it is such fun colors, spring colors, happy colors. I love it. What do you think? So I have 2 finished objects. That was the vanilla sock and this Betty Cowel. So, and it's, oh, I love this. I can tell I'm going to be wearing this a lot because I just have like a gray winter coat, and I think it'll go great with that. And it's nice and warm and toasty. With this pattern, you also do get a headband, but I'm not really a headband person, so I'm not going to make the headband. But I was thinking I like the mittens. So I don't have enough of I don't think there's enough for 2 mittens. I definitely don't have enough of the white, but I might buy it and see what she has for some mini skeins online, because I was thinking how cute would these be with the variegated colors going up them, with the white background and like maybe, a hot pink inside. So that's a thought. That is a thought. And that is a thought. So whips, finished objects, a little bit of a yarn haul, but I'm going to show you more of my yarn haul. So, like I said, I was in Brussels a few weeks back, but I have been so wrapped up on my 12 cast-ons of 2026. I really didn't even have, and going to Vogue Knitting, I really didn't have a chance to talk about it. But what I did get was some roving. And nope, I'm not a spinner, but she had this roving that she actually knitted. And you would not even know it's roving when it was knit up. And I really was attracted to it. So I bought 3 of this color. I don't even know if it has the color. But she's called Fantastic Farm. And she has Fantastic Farm yarn, and she has an Etsy shop. And I will link all that below. But when I saw her samples, and I might even have pictures of her samples, so I'll put it up here if I can find them. So I got that colorway, and then of course a pink. Look at that. Of course a pink. So I have no idea what I'm going to make with all this. I'm not a hat person. I'm not a headband person. She had a scarf made up. It wasn't, inexpensive, but I think to get, look at how pretty. I don't think you can spin this. I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to a friend of mine who does a lot of spinning. Because if I don't knit it up, maybe I'll maybe I'll have a try at spinning. But what I might also do, I am taking a rigid heddle loom class next week. And you might be able to use something like this in there. I'm going to show it to the teacher, but that's a thing that I'm very excited about, that I've been trying to take this class for a while now. And the last time I signed up, I had to cancel. There was some personal thing that came up in my family and I couldn't do it. But her name is Dahlia, and it's in Boston, and she seems like a very sweet, nice lady. She told me I could reschedule, so I'm really looking forward to that. I've done some weaving with, the the very little looms. I forget what you call them. They're very portable. And little teeny wall hangings, but the rigid heddle loom, I believe I can make table runners, placemats, scarves, maybe ponchos. I think you can, make a lot of stuff, but I will tell you about all that. And that might be featured here in a few videos going forward. I will see. But another thing I got from the same vendor is this, what has she called it? Hand spun. Oh, I really do need the glasses for this. Hold on. So this yarn that I showed you is called Coopworth. Okay, so if you look on her Etsy and you see that, that's what that is. But this yarn is beautiful. I just fell in love with the colors. I don't even know if this does it justice. That's a little bit better. Purples and greens, and again, my color palette. She says, all of my hand spinning fibers grown here on our homestead are sourced locally from other small farms. I choose each fleece for its special characteristics, and I hand process the fiber from beginning to end for complete control over texture and color. I am particularly fond of the luster and the gentle crimp of the long wool breeds. I use low twist and long staple length on all my single ply yarns, giving them a nice hand along with durability. Hand spun, I know this is a name of a sheep, but I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce it right. Leicester longwool with hand-dyed locks. Stetina. And this is 166 yards. So hopefully I didn't botch that too bad. But again, she is on Etsy, has on Etsy.com. I'll link it below, and you can look at all her stuff. And I have no idea what I'm going to make with this. A shawl, not a shawl, maybe a scarf, maybe a cowl, maybe it'll get woven. If I decide to pick up the weaving, maybe it will be something to weave. And she also had this, which this I think would be cute mittens. What does she call this one? Coopworth. So this is also Coopworth, 182 yards. See these colors? So beautiful. So what I'm thinking, because this is Coopworth, is this spun into this? Okay, this is not my forte, so that's why I'm asking people. I'm not a spinner. I really don't know. I'm thinking if this is called Coopworth and this is called Coopworth, does that mean this was spun into something like this? I don't know. And the other thing I got, and this is because I love Peggy at Junction Fiber Mill, and she's always there, and I just wanted to support her a little and buy some of her yarns. So I found this Carnival. Again, my colors. So if you're new here, you have a drift of my color palette. I like a lot of color. Purples, pinks, green. I'm not a real green person, but it goes good with the purples and pinks, so there's always a little bit of that in there. So that was my yarn haul from Russell's. and stay tuned. I don't know what I will be doing with it. And other than that, I have my 12 cast-ons back here. I have a few whips in progress from them moving along. I haven't worked on any sweaters, but I do plan on working on 2 of them, and I will bring them to you next week. I don't want to go over them now because if for some reason I don't get to them, I don't want to talk about them. So until next time, I thank you so much for joining me, or if you've been here times before, thank you for supporting me. Um, I do plan on being back within the next week or so to go over some more progress, knitting, crocheting, weaving. So until next time, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and I will see you soon. Have a happy, great Friday the 13th and a happy, happy Valentine's Day to you too. So again, thank you for watching. And as always, if you like the content of my videos and you'd like to see me on again, I'd really love it if you'd consider subscribing, and you can give me a thumbs up. That helps build the channel. And I would always love to chat with you in the comments. So again, see you soon. Bye.